Yo, what's good, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of TheStankCast. I'm your host, Hamstank. He's your co-host, Craig Moo Moo Cowie. And on my left is our special guest, once again on the pod. It's Mr. Earthdrop. Say hello to the people.
Mr. Earthdrop. Hello, people.
How are we doing? It's been a while since we've caught up with you.
At least in an official capacity.
Yeah. I've spoke to you on and off in a bit, but it's been a while since we've had you on the pod, or a couple of weeks at least. So I was just wanting to get a catch up with you, and you've had quite a month. The last time, or even, what was it, 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago, maybe something. You had you had a wee car crash, I heard.
Yeah, well, I suppose it would 2 months ago now.
2 months ago, was it? Yeah.
It was when Morgan was born.
Yeah, it was
just a few days before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was out in the rain, and my driving's not as good as I think it is, apparently, and I hit a puddle, and the puddle subsequently made the van hit a barrier, and that was good. Wrote the van off altogether. I put that up online, basically saying, I'm a muppet, I've crashed the van. And fortunately enough, the community were there to kind of like catch me. And while I was waiting on the truck being, the van being paid out and replaced and all the rest, suggested I set up the GoFundMe, which, as you know, did.
Yeah, took off. Yeah.
Quite good. So we got the truck. We went and put the deposit down and the 2 months rent down on the premises.
So you've moved into the premises now as well,
so that's on the go. This has all been the last sort of 2 months. Like just after, or Morgan is about 7.5 weeks, so there and thereabouts. But
yeah, so it's all been go since Morgan's birth, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, between obviously her and Maya, we've got 2 kids to look after. Both have been sick a couple of times, but we've managed to get down to the yard, get the worktops and stuff built, which has been good. And they're all straight and stuff. So Steve was actually down today.
Yeah, I was down. At the yard, having given a helping hand. I'm not much of a helping hand, as we all know, with the construction, but I was there to hold things. It was the human clamp for the day, but it's nice to see.
Perfectly good at it too.
Yeah, it's nice.
What did you get built?
Well, we did like half of the bench, the worktop bench that's going to go across the back.
I couldn't do it myself because I couldn't hold both ends up and screw them together at the same time. So Steve was holding all the bits together and I was screwing them in. And now that I've got the frame built, I can do the supports myself.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so I've got the worktops and stuff going in. I've got the bench tools and stuff going in. I got the trailer,
saw that
which was nice. So yeah, in like 8 weeks, it's went from the van kind of just running around picking up what I can to the truck and the premises and all the rest. Of course, the development with the truck hasn't all been good.
You just have to say it goes to show what amazing community you do have from being in the position you were originally in 2 months ago, where you'd just crashed the van.
Yeah,
you were in a situation where you had no transport, and then second child on the way, and your community was there to help.
Yeah,
when you've said all along, Kevin, what you've never seen like a comment section or a community that are like his on TikTok.
It's mental. You normally
Instagram.
like all social media, especially TikTok, can normally be like really pretty like aggressive towards people. Like it's just a lot of people being very horrible at one another, but yours just isn't like that. So it's actually it's mad to see it. It's mad. Like I've never seen another one like it.
It's a collection of just incredibly lovely people. It's really funny because you go into the comments and stuff, and I mean, you guys know I'm not one of these that takes compliments particularly well. Like I'm not kind of like a take it in, but on rough days, see when you go through the comments and stuff, some of it's just like so nice. There's no way to be pissed off when you're watching it. Like some of the comments are really, really nice. And to be totally honest, the community and that are probably half the reason I'm still doing it. Because
of course.
Even just in a motivational sense, I probably would have.
You've said to me privately before they're a big influencing factor in why you keep going and why you have the encouragement and inspiration to keep doing what you're doing, because other people are inspired by you, which re-inspires you.
Which I think is amazing because I mean.
This is we can't get one good comment on our fucking thing.
I know.
It's a bit different though. We're just two guys sitting, chatting and interviewing, where Josh is going out and actually affecting stuff, and we just talk about him doing good things. But I changed that today by going down and trying to help.
Yeah, you did, mate. Yeah, you did. No, it was good. No, it was appreciated. No, it's funny. It's weird because like in day-to-day life, like obviously like the way I am and stuff, I'm known for being objectively quite miserable. Like I'm not one of these like super I'm not one of these like super positive, like everything's all right kind of people, but I try not to like, I'm not dishonest about it. I admit, like I've said on my page and stuff, I've got depression and all the rest. Like I've been pretty forthcoming with it.
Yeah.
But I try not to post stuff that's too dwelling in a bad place. You know what I mean? Like if something bad happens, I'll do a video on it, or maybe do a couple of videos on it, and I'll try and move on and just get on to something fresh. It's like we'll just carry on and we'll move on to the next thing. And I try not to, but I mean there has been obviously with the updates with the truck and stuff not working and things, that the updates haven't been great. But I expect sometimes to see the comments being like, oh, like you've not picked stuff up for like 2 weeks. Like obviously we know the truck's knackered and all this sort of stuff, and I keep expecting to see the comments from people like annoyed or someone, and it just doesn't come. It just doesn't happen. And I think part of that's just like that inner sort of monologue, like, oh, someone's like waiting for you to like mess up. But realistically, they don't really appear, and it's so uncommon on the internet. Like it's amazing. And I think I've just lucked out on getting just an incredible selection of people on social media. Some of them are just amazing.
I think it helps the fact that like they actively defend you as well. Like if anyone does come in the comments saying anything, like they're straight in on the defense, but and like getting them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was Kieran French left a comment on my Facebook, like taking the mick out of me for a joke. And somebody left a comment being like, "Shut up, like don't you dare speak to him like that." I was like, "Oh, he's my friend." Like he's like, like don't get me wrong, he's an ass, but he's my friend. Like that. It's But yeah, it was funny. Like folk were like at him. I was like, "No, look, it's fine. Like, calm down." But I try not to weaponize that. You see a lot of people online, like they try and use their following, like, "Oh, go after this person, go after that person." Like I think that's like mad sketchy. Like that can go wrong in so many ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, obviously, with the truck being sold to me as a working vehicle, and turns out it's not. The amount of people that have asked for the boys' details. Like people are all over, like, give us those details, like we'll make him give them the money back. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, but there's been a lot of comments like, oh, you should expose him, like name and shame, like we'll get his face in the papers, and I'd be like, I'm not getting into this like crazy vendetta sort of like things like that. Just have a habit of getting out of hand.
I get it, to be fair though, because like if you're purposely selling somebody a knackered vehicle, it's knackered, then you've got to be a bit of a scumbag. Like
this is the problem.
But you don't know what they're. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Like a wee army.
It's folk on about finding stuff. Like if I found stuff, like I've found some rubbish in the woods with names and details on them before, and people are like, "Oh, share the details and stuff." Like I just can't do that. Like it's not like. It's less about what happens to them and more about how much my conscience can deal with. Like if I went and shared this person's details online and they ended up on Instagram or the news or whatever, and then they lose their job and they're like their kids and shit and all that sort of, as like as a fallout of something that I've reported them for. Like that's too much for me.
There's too many levels for that.
Yeah,
for where it can go wrong after.
I'll pick up the rubbish. If I find somebody's details, I'll make a mental note of it. If I found anybody's stuff again, which I haven't yet, it would be different. But so far, I'm just not down for that sort of like vigilante sort of doling out justice with like the social media sort of sway thing. I don't think that would end anybody. As much as I appreciate
people cancelled, no.
Nah. As much as I appreciate it, and I appreciate that people are there like ready to defend the page and what I'm doing and stuff like that. I think at times it's handy to kind of just sit back and say to folk, look, just like chill. Like it's Beans, don't climb up there.
Eat the cables.
Poor Nala.
I know. That was all her that time, to be fair. She just started hissing at him for no reason.
Hard life. I don't hiss near my feet.
Right, what was I saying there? Cats are interrupting us here.
Yeah, no, I don't. Honestly, the community are amazing. Like it is, it's mental, and it takes a long time for me to sit and actually like make sense of it.
It kind of speaks volumes about the work that you do as well, though, because you put in good-natured work, you're going to get good-natured people who follow you, and then it's like if you see all these boys who are social media influencers and stuff who go around doing the YouTube pranks and all these types of things, the type of viewers and people that are watching their stuff, they enjoy that sort of thing. They're also the type of people that will turn on you.
You know what I mean?
So people who are online are very fickle. And they can be. Well, not all of them, but they can be.
I think it depends on what you attract. Like I find myself on TikTok sometimes, and it's on these. I'm not going to name drop any of them because they all think they're like
the big
the
shot,
absolute dogs. Like, It's a bunch of folk who claim themselves to be the most famous UK TikTokers, and they're just deplorable people. Like they are. I'm quite like. They're one of them. He gets angry when folk don't send him gifts, and he starts screaming abuse at people and that. And he gets sent thousands of pounds a week, But he's this ungrateful, and he's screaming at people like, "How dare you?"
Does this guy by any chance need to just give up and shave his hair off?
Yes, him. Yeah, it's exactly who I'm talking about. That's exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah,
I'm at a total loss. I'm not on TikTok,
he's got
so
a haircut that's like. All of his 9 strands of hair from the back of his head are pulled forward and grown long to try and make it look like he's got hair.
He is wrestling. There was like, I mean, I'm going to be careful because like a lot of it's speculation. You see in the comments and stuff, but there's a lot of reports about this boy apparently not being very nice to people lately.
Yeah.
And then you've got
but
other ones.
He admits it. He makes comments about being basically like, I'm not a nice person.
He made a video basically bragging about how he shook his cat and like he was, I wasn't doing what was told, and he like. She was like, all right, that's big you, man. How cool are you?
Boys, I've seen a few videos.
But there's a few of them. There is a good few of them, and it is just folk like taking advantage of people. Like, send me money because I want you to be part of my like my clan or my family or whatever they call their like. Here,
they're going at it today. By the way, they have not stopped
fighting constantly.
Beans won't leave her alone. Look,
Beans, man, you chill it. Yeah,
you were waiting to get done there.
Nah, he was waiting to get done.
Yeah, no, and I don't like social media is a weird enough place as it is without being on there and being like egotistical and hateful and try to bleed money out of people and stuff like that. Like you've seen me when it comes to money.
I'm not being funny, right? But the average TikTok user must be what, 14?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the average person who uses TikTok.
It's the gifting, man. That's
what you're just trying to take advantage of, like teenagers.
It is, and these folk are making thousands of pounds.
I'm sure I don't know who this person is, but surely they're what, late 20s or 30s?
Oh, boys 30 odd anyway.
Yeah,
boys 30 odd anyway.
Yeah.
Most of them are
taking advantage of people half his age.
But it is, and it's just one of these like. No gratitude, no nothing. Just like give me everything you've got. Like folk, I don't care if you've not got. Just because he goes on live,
he wants people sending him money. Like
this is the.
There was that famous clip of the streamer, the female streamer, who was complaining about people not sending them money, saying.
She said you've got like hours to watch my stream, but you don't have $5 to actually like subscribe to it or something.
She was like, get up and get a job.
Yeah.
And then pay for what you're watching.
Well, this is what goes on. This is the boys saying things like that. Is that I can't believe none of these are spending money. Like, are you poor? Like, if you're just poor, just get out of my life. Like, I don't want MD in here that's not getting any money and stuff. You're like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
that's just
ridiculous. And folks send money.
Yeah.
This is what gets me. Folks send them money, and there's so many of them. And I think because I interacted with them for a while, I started seeing them more and more and more.
Yeah.
And there's like a collection of about 8 or 9, and I could rattle them all off their names, but I'm not going to.
There's one that you sent me, and you still like send me the videos of it because it like.
Is that the scrawny one?
The out dancing on the street one. Yeah,
that's another one. Claims to be the most famous UK TikToker. Like, but it's like they basically did a thing where I'm going to collect money for tents for charity. Basically got like 20 odd of these tents ordered, returned like 20 of them. Kept 2 and then pocketed the money, like, and this was all over the internet and stuff. Like, his boys raised money for charity numerous times, and it's just disappeared. You've just seen me. That money that came in that GoFundMe nearly gave me an anxiety attack. In fact, I say nearly. I was getting chest pains and honestly, just
that guy you're on about had a fight. Had like a boxing match thing. You got beat up. Obviously,
this is the UK TikTok sort of influencer scene, fighting, boxing, HS, and I know who you're talking about. All these, I know who you're talking. And they've all got like collect.
Is he fought on Misfits? Is he?
No. It's like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just like some like
makeup.
Yeah, like they just basically have like these boxing matches like in a gym.
Oh, is that on HS TikTok thing?
Yeah.
I've seen that on Twitter, on X, whatever it's called. I've seen some like clips of that.
But none of them can fight. Yeah, none of the people I've seen that have been on it can
I saw that he fought on Misfits. He's been beat up a few times on Misfits.
Well, the people that are on that can't fight either.
No.
Okay, well, this is the crowd. They all get together and they're all influencers, and I don't pull the. Well, I've got so many followers thing, but half of them are on like 50 to 100,000 followers, and they're claiming to be the biggest influencers on like TikTok in the UK. And I'm like, bro, you're on like 60,000 people. Like that's not biggest influencer in the UK. It's not even the biggest influencer in this town. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's absolutely wild. Like folk get way too big for their britches, and I just don't like. It doesn't mean nothing.
No.
You know Who's got more followers? You're the Seagull guy.
Oh, the Seagull guy,
1
by
million
like a
Seagull
factor
now?
of 2. I'm sure he's on like 3 million.
Mental.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm sure he's on like 3
Good on
million.
him.
Yeah.
Good on him. I'm
30
actually
I seen him in
for it.
Tesco the other day.
30,000
What a
people
lad,
on
man. Just feed
in
the
Arbroath. 33,000 people in Arbroath, and he's by far and away the most followed person.
Yeah,
from
that's
here,
mental.
like.
Well done to him, man. I honestly give up.
Feeding a seagull.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like that's once again wholesome content, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
feeding a
yeah,
seagull.
that was it.
Just feeding
Yeah.
a seagull, right? And
he's got it nailed.
these
He's like
guys-
a pet.
yeah, these guys that are doing these like boxing events and stuff like that, and doing these giveaways. That's the people that they get in that watch their content are the type that are fickle and will
Gonna
turn
turn
on them
on them.
and
Yeah.
a drop
Yeah,
of a hat, and they
Yeah.
usually
you know
will do
that,
something
you've seen
outrageous.
that Bevo guy,
So,
the guy
Yeah.
who eats the food and
Yes.
makes the funny faces and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the comment sections under his videos now?
Yeah, they're rough, eh?
Folk,
Yeah, they're
folk
really
have
rough.
really turned on him, and for a hot minute, he was the most popular thing on the internet, and now
he was actually in the last Sidemen Sunday video that I
or
watched.
UK internet.
Was he really?
I don't know.
Yeah, they had him on a Sidemen Sunday. It was like a try not to laugh video, and they brought Bevo out just to like swallow
This is
food.
we've had this discussion before. See, if I was to jump on lives and
But
just
some-
start being silly,
yeah.
like, and start building up this infamy, like it would be there'd be money hand over foot. Like if that was what any of us was interested in, that could be the just jumping on live, being absolutely objectively horrible to people just to get on videos,
Yeah.
just to get like shared and stuff. Because half of them get more views than I do. Like, and it's because folk want to see them crash and burn most of the time. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll
how
turn
much
on them at the
stress
drop of a
must that
hat,
be,
man.
Imagine how many people not liking you like at one time. Like, imagine a comment section being the exact opposite of what like
They
the
comfort
guys on
themselves
mine
with
are,
having
just-
money, though.
Oh mate,
You know what I mean? They
don't
comfort
think
themselves by getting the money.
all the money in the world's not worth being hated like that. Surely,
I don't think people actually hate them, though, do you? Like, it's still right. See if
I don't
people
know.
were
Like,
to
I've
see
seen
if-
some of that ones we
see
were
if
on.
people were
about,
to
some
see
of
like
got some
Bevo and
haters,
that
like,
on the
yeah.
street, they would still want a picture with them or something like that. Even though they would leave shite comments, people are so
I'm
much
trying
braver.
not to mention so many different names.
People are so
many
much
different-
braver on a phone than they are in real person. They're not going to say these types of things.
Go the biscuit tin,
Even
man.
though Bevo, just leave him. He's fine.
Alright.
Even though Bevo's like not hard or anything, people are still not going to say anything to him because they want to go up and take a picture with him and post it on socials and it'll be funny. So
Yeah, but then that's not then him like being famous and it. Like that's people
No.
like taking photos to laugh at him.
That's
like,
what I don't
not
think
great.
people
Like,
realise
that's
is you're
people
not
thinking because they
famous. You're
think
just
you're a
being
joke.
laughed at collectively.
Yeah,
like, that's,
exactly.
but at the end of the day, he's still not like he's still going to be further ahead than they are.
Oh,
So-
most of these, like, we're all talking about these, like, influencers from the UK and stuff. Most of them are making
That's what I'm saying to you. There's
5-6 grand every other week.
That.
Like, they're money hand over foot. But
Money that like the ordinary person who are taking the piss at them won't see.
yeah, well,
So
that's
what
100%.
comforts with
Nah,
them.
it's 100.
I mean, I'm not one that's
Yeah, I just I
rich
wouldn't want to
or
make
anything.
money that way from people laughing at me all the time. Like
No,
But that's
absolutely not.
I'm
No.
woefully the other way. Like I point blank refuse to take money in loads of situations. Like I don't monetize my page.
Yeah.
TikTok makes like £3 a month. Like
Yeah.
Instagram, I think I got a check through the other day for like £4.20 or something like that. Like it's honestly it's absolutely mental. But you get folk that their sole objective is to bleed as much money out of
Yeah.
these pages as possible, and for a lot of them it works. But I just couldn't do that.
Like, have
for
you seen the
love
the
nor
people
money,
that
eh?
pretend to be like AI robots on the thing, and they make a silly amount, and they just like
Yeah.
pretend that they're like an NPC. That's all they do. So they'll
Yeah.
just do like. I wouldn't even attempt it because it's the cringiest thing to watch them all. But they'll pretend like they're like NPC characters, like the start
And
of a
they'll do
game or
like
something.
I've seen
And then
that.
people send them stuff, and they like they react a
Is
certain
that really
way.
what's all over TikTok?
There's some of it on the lives and that, but
In the live, there's like several thousand people in the live. They make so much money. in
Yeah,
gifts
but
and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
so
woman that done
oblivious
it
to
and
TikTok, and the stories you guys tell me is the reason I don't go on it.
there's a woman that was doing it, and she was making something like 15 grand like every day when she was doing it.
Why, by being an NPC?
Yeah, from just pretending. And but then people will send you a gift, because if they send a gift, she does like a certain like
Move.
phrase. But
Oh.
then if they send her the same gift, she'll do the exact same thing again, and but she'll do it exactly the same, so she actually looks like an NPC. So then like people end up just spending loads on it to see her like doing it because she keeps up with them all. Or like all the people it does, when it does a Spider-Man guy that does like Spider-Man as well.
Yeah,
And
I've
like
seen that.
he like they keep up with how often the gifts are getting sent and stuff like that, and it just looks mental. And that's why I think that's why people do it, to try and see how difficult they can make it for them and
But I
shit
think
like that.
I
But
d-
it's just so it's hard to watch. Like,
And it's tough
to watch.
because it's brain rot. Like a lot of it's
Yeah,
like, and
that's
I don't talk
literally what I was
against.
thinking
Yeah, I
the
don't
whole
talk
time, yeah.
against creators and stuff. Like I really don't. Like people who are making videos and stuff, like fantastic. But there's a lot of this, and like I say, they lives and
There's
stuff.
a little
Some of
bit
them are
different
just-
from making content, and and like recording content, editing content, and then putting content out there. I think there's a lot more to be said for doing that than there is live streaming and streaming your stuff, because all you're doing is living life and live streaming and walking around and doing whatever you're doing. Whereas when you're making content, you're actually building a piece of art. You're actually building something to entertain people. I know you can be streaming and doing like NPCs, but that's not. You're not actually like doing anything. You're not creating something for people are watching. Nobody's going to go and rewatch that 10 years later. You know what I mean?
But this is where the money comes in.
What the fuck was going on in the world?
Yeah.
Nah, when these folk are possibly making like say 15 grand or whatever, like it attracts so many people, and that's what I'm saying. The opportunity to go out there and do this kind of thing has been presented. Like if I was to take that kind of swerve, I'd be able to make money like that. Like, but I don't think there's enough money in the world, and that's how I don't like involving it in the page and stuff, because I feel like it comes off a bit like these begs and things, and I like the idea of just having. Just somewhere online, just the point is just to be objectively nice. Like I'm not like, it's not to get you to react. Like I don't leave comments like, oh please like my video, please like like I tend not to do that. Like because I don't like the idea of people being obligated. Like it's not, surely it'd be better if all social media was just a bunch of people doing cool stuff that they enjoy doing, and not just stuff they're doing for money. You know what I mean? Like these people doing these NPC things, they're not doing it because it's what they love in life. They're doing it because it pays out a fortune. You know what I mean? Like. And it's maybe just me being a bit sort of critical, but I just think it'd be better if Abdi's sort of content was them doing things they enjoy doing, or your hobbies or whatever, not just...
No, I agree with you.
Not baiting folk into arguments or like...
But a lot of people don't, like say, a lot of people don't do that kind of content online because of the stuff that people say. Like there was, I'll not name names either, but there's someone that was mentioning just the other day that they don't like even posting pictures and that, because like people would just instantly jump on and like instantly start shredding them, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what puts a lot of people off from like even attempting to make any content, because it's like, what if you spend 2 hours of your time and you make it and do this and then you think it, and then all people have got to say is shite stuff. Like it's do you know what? And it's,
even if it's not all they're saying, it's funny. I've seen me reading 200 good comments and I'll read through them like amazing, and I'll get to one of the bad ones and I'll respond to it. And I'll go, why have it? Because I need to obviously be careful what to respond to, because I can't respond to everything. But I do. There's a lot of sentiments that I want to respond to. So I'll go through the comments and I read basically everything that comes in. But I can only interact with so much, you know what I mean? And sometimes I interact with like negativity, and I kind of go, why have I wasted my interaction on that rubbish? Like, and I'll be rolling through it. There was one the other day. I got one. What was it, yesterday? This whole thing with the truck like breaking down and like the oil burn and all this sort of stuff.
We'll have to rewind and go through a bit of that story, but yeah.
I was just about to say the same about like, the actual facility. It would be good to get at some point in this conversation to get you to explain what what you'll be doing for the
midway
facility.
Through that story, while you were talking about the other streamers, I was trying to circle back to the community, but then you went straight back to the other. I was like, okay, we'll just do this a little bit more then.
Yeah, we got derailed again.
Go on about your comment. Well, we'll speak about a little bit about the truck coming along.
Something along the lines. I've seen your last 2 videos, and this is coming off really scammy. Like I'm just like, well, I've not asked for money. I've specifically not mentioned the Patreon, the GoFundMe, or any of that. Like I've not went on, oh, my truck's broken, send me like however much. I've went on, like the truck's broken, so I can't get out right now. Like this is why, like this is what's going on. Because basically the boy that sold me the truck, this farmer guy down south, I sent a mechanic down there to look at the car, looked at the car, said it was great, put it on the trailer, brought it up here. Once it got up here, I checked it, checked the fluids, all the rest, had a look, totally great, fine. Drove it for 6 weeks. Took it into the garage because it was making a different noise, and the boy's like, look, I think there's a bit of a problem here because you've no oil. I was like, right, well, there should be, because I've only had it 6 weeks. So I went up, and he said what the guy had done is the first mechanic told me it was burning, but the plug for the oil level gauge and the oil pressure switch, which both would have told me if there was problems with oil, had been unplugged, because it's got a problem with burning oil or whatever it's doing. And these had been unplugged by the previous seller, so they didn't come up on the dash. Because the boy sent me a video of the dashboard of the truck, no lights on it, totally fine, working great, doesn't use any fluids, all this nonsense. And I got it checked over, and the boy's like, nah, this car's cooked, like there's something wrong with it. So he said, the first mechanic said he's not doing the work because it's too much and it's too much effort and it's not economical. So I've had to go to a specialist who said he's going to have a look at it. But he got into it, and he come back, he said, look, I don't think it's burning, but I think it's leaking from basically everywhere. He's like, there's oil all over the engine bay. Like, it looks like there's leaks and all these sort of things, and gaskets and all this sort of stuff. Now, I'm a bit of a hobbyist, but I don't know so much about cars that I'd be able to diagnose this myself. So he says, right, okay. So now, tomorrow/today, I find out how much he's going to quote to fix it.
Okay.
Then I send it in to get the work done. And I do, because we did the GoFundMe, I've got some money sitting there. The problem is, because that's why I've not asked for people to send money to like pay for the repairs and everything. There is money sitting there. But the problem with the money sitting there means that the amount of rent I can pay, because the Patreon's about $13.50 at the moment. My rent's $12.50. Then I've got electric, gas, and broadband on it. So I'm about $14 to $14.50 a month to run the premises. So we're still making a bit of a loss on that.
Yeah.
So the savings that are sitting there from leftovers from the GoFundMe after paying for the deposit and the trailer and the tools and all the rest, what's left of that was enough to keep us open for 6 months without any Patreon money coming in at all.
Yeah, okay.
So Patreon could suddenly dry up, which in theory it shouldn't, could suddenly dry up. And we would have 6 months to kind of like work things out and get through the 6 month period and figure out what we're doing. But with the repairs on the truck, that's not going to be the case. That's the money that was kind of sitting there to keep us tiding over. So we're going to have to spend that on repairing the truck, because it's worth like $3,500 less as it sits.
Yeah.
So really economically, we're as well spending between £2,000 and £2,500 repairing it, which is more than I've spent. I mean, I've bought about 4 of my cars that I've ever had in my life for about £1,500 combined, not even independently. Like, so £2,500 or £2,000 on repairs is ridiculous. But it's either that or I'll lose the. But either way, because there's money involved again, and because the truck's broken, and I've just got to go and say, look, this is what the mechanic said. This person's left a comment and be like, oh, this is getting really scammy. Be like, I don't know any other way to come to you with this information in a clear and transparent manner, because I could have just sold the truck, and this is what I said to Jodie. I could have just punted the truck, not told whoever it was that was going to buy it off me that was a problem, left it unplugged and let it be somebody else's problem. I still could have got the £5,000 for the truck, but then I've given somebody a broken truck that's going to be in the exact same situation as us to find out they're £3,500 in the pan, and I'm not willing to do that to somebody. So that's got to a point where my only option is to come clean and go, look, I've bought a fucked vehicle.
Yeah.
Or try and brush under the carpet, and I can't do that because I need the truck to go out and do the recording. And without the truck, I can't go and pick up rubbish. I can't do the pickups. I can't do like half the stuff that I need to do. So people deserve to know, but because I've let people know, this is a bit funny. I was like, well, what else do I do? So the plan is, once I get the bill from the mechanic for the full itemised bill for the truck, I'm going to put it up and I'm going to show people. I'll send a photo. I'll put it up and I'll be like, look, here's the proof that the vehicle is actually knackered and I'm needing it repaired. But
yeah, so what you're saying is like when you're posting it, you're posting it so that to be like almost, this is what I've done with what you have given me, like so that you're being honest with them. But some people are taking it like you're posting being like, okay, this has happened, so give me more because I need more because now it's broken.
This is where the money get, and it was really hard not to come across unappreciative, because with that money coming in was great. It means I can do so much more with the page. We've moved things forward. We've got tools that we wouldn't have had prior, all this sort of stuff. But
let's go back to that, because I don't think on this page anyway, we haven't spoke about like what actually happened there. So you crashed the car right before Morgan's birth, and then you made a video about it, and you set up a Patreon, if I'm right, or was it a GoFundMe you set up?
I'd been asked to set up a GoFundMe over and over again, and I'm always quite resilient to setting them up because it's too much like asking.
No, I know you personally, so I get it.
It gets to the point where people were getting upset with me. They're like, look, we're asking you to set this up. Whether you advertise it or not is up to you, but if you set it up, then if we want to, we can send it. Right, well, do you know what? Fine, like I'll set it up. I'll leave it at the side. I set the target at £1,000 because you had to set a target, and I left it. 12 hours later, it was only like £3,500. Right, well, like that wasn't the plan. Like that's changed. So I put in the updates and stuff. Right, what that means now is some of this can go towards this, some of it can go towards that. You know what I mean? Like we're starting to, and then it got a bit higher and a bit higher. And I think after about a week, it was on about £16,000. And I just like,
it's wild, isn't it?
Like I've made less than that in years, but like a year before. You know what I mean? Like, so besides anything else, it was a total shock to the system, but. From there, like I say, I spent $5,000 getting into the premises. So I had to pay the 2 months deposit. I went and bought the trailer and stuff. Like I got the truck. I went and bought tools. Like the page had this massive cash infusion that without would never have happened. Like, and that's the updates on the GoFundMe was like, right, look, now we've passed this barrier. Like, I'm going to use that for rent. I'm going to use that for this. Like, I'm going to use that. And the further we got in, I'd said to folk, like, that gives me about 6 months fully paid to be in here. Yeah. No problems at all. And that was when I started getting full, we'll put a Patreon up because I can't afford to give you 20, 30, 40, 50 quid, but I can afford to give you £3 a month or whatever. So
I told you to get this Patreon ages and ages
I know,
ago,
but
back before the money, because when it was like properly costing you to be doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we've been at it, what, about 3 years, and for 2 years it's cost us.
Yeah, like, especially with just if, like, say, more so now that you've got 2 kids, but even when you just had Maya, like I said to you that you should have done that, and it took you fucking ages.
Well, that's like I say, we're about 3 years in, and that's we just sort of monetized it just recently.
It's always a sensitive thing to involve, though, isn't it? Money. Like when you start involving money, then people, like you say, can start saying things like this is getting a bit scammy and stuff like that.
So motives and stuff.
Yeah, you can understand and. Like we both were aware that would be the case.
And this sort of.
But you're right. You should have set it up a long time ago.
I think Patreon's an easier one to go by though. Like I think the people, like I say, the guy in the comments is
he won't be subscribed to
the issue
Patreon.
For him was like you know what I mean, like it being like money like that. Whereas when it's a monthly subscription, it's almost like people are just helping you to run what you're doing through the month. Like I feel like that's easier for people to take. Like if you know what I mean, like that's easier for people to understand. Hey,
amazing.
Well, that's Kiwi's camera down.
Add that to the blooper reel. There we go.
And
Beans,
guess what?
bro. Don't go back up there.
I'm going to have to set that up again. And the cat's coming back.
I'm close enough in the middle.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
sounded pretty good.
Apologies, people.
That's what we
see
get.
me for a while there. The cat decided to go right in amongst every single one of the cameras. So
that's what we get for having the cats in the background.
Yeah.
What were you saying there? What were you just saying there? You were saying something about.
I was saying that I think when you have a monthly subscription and stuff like that, I was saying yours were never high up. Like yours were never like they're not like it's not like expensive.
No,
and I say some of them are like.
I've not even
for people that's much easier to digest.
I mean, my lowest one is 87 pence a month, and you get exactly the same in that one as you do in the one that's £17.50 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, folk asked for tiers, and they're like, and I was like, look, I'll put them up at all these prices. You guys can pick what you want. At the moment, you're not getting anything more than anybody else. Like you all get access to the same stuff. Like there's no paywall or nothing. It's just like 87 pence a month is as appreciated as the 17.50. Like I know it sounds silly, but it is because a bunch of these small payments equate to a lot of what that sort of amount is. But like I say, I think folk look at the 13.50 or whatever it is and kind of go, oh, like that's how much he's making. Like that's doesn't even cover what we are to be in that place. Like, and it's a weird position to have put ourselves in, that this has went from a hobby and doing something in my spare time to try and make things a bit better to full up business. Like I would never consider myself to be like a business person. Like I'm not like a traditional sort of like business owner or nothing like that. And if this does become like a full up branded normal like ordinary like workaday business, then great. But there is going to be hurdles when it comes to money and stuff because it needs to come from somewhere, you know what I mean? And once you start allocating it, that's when you're under scrutiny. And most of the people, this would say like 99% of the people are lovely and they're like, look, take some for yourself, get yourself stuff. And it's like, but that just hasn't been the case. Like I've not been able to like sit down and go, oh, I'll use that and go and get like a takeaway or something, because immediately I get this little alarm bell in my head going, that's not what that's for, that's not what that's for, that's not what that's for. And whether people tell me or not, and they go, oh, don't worry about it. Like, as much as I appreciate that, the whole time I spend any of that money, I've got this little alarm bell going on, like, be careful. Like,
I've seen you wearing the same clothes for the last 3 years. So.
Mate, yeah, exactly. That stands to reason as well. Same stuff I've had on for the last like every video. Yeah, no, and that's because I remember we said I had a comment from somebody like local, oh, you and your flash, this, that, and the next thing. I've got a truck from like 2003. Like, I've not went and bought like a £30,000 like VW Amarok or nothing. Like, I'm not rocking around in a BMW or nothing. Like that is our only mode of transport.
Yeah.
And it's a 2003 truck that, as it turns out, is fucked anyway. But this was, and I've only ever had one person like, all right, because I for being on TikTok and I don't act any different. I don't meet people in the street and, oh, how are you getting on? Not seen you in ages. Guess what I do, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Unless somebody says to me, oh, I've seen you on TikTok, and usually I'll respond with, oh, fucking, yeah, don't worry about it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, folk drop that in a conversation, like, oh, he's actually quite big on TikTok. Like, go and fuck off, eh? And so it was one of those, like, stats on conversation, like, let's not do that, eh?
That's how I'm going to introduce him every single time.
I'm definitely.
This is my friend. He's on TikTok. Yeah, fucking brilliant.
It's actually my famous friend. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
That's what one of the boys, Boy Cook, left a comment. It's like, now that you're famous, like, I get fucked, man. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Nah, I don't like. Folk get way too big for their britches. That's what I was saying earlier about some of the folk. Like,
yeah.
A little bit of notoriety, and all of a sudden they're like, I'm better than you. Like, you're not better than anybody, man. Like, it doesn't make any difference. Like, 1.5 million, but then you're not better than anybody. Is why I've not managed to hold down a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
It's because I've had managers that are, I'm your manager, so you will. Nah, man. If you're a nice guy, like, I'll do what you're telling me. Like, I'll do it. But if you're a horrible person and you're going to use the excuse that you're my superior to treat me like shit, I'm probably going to say something. I mean,
you're now your own superior. So
that's absolutely opposite to my career that I've had.
See if I had employees, man.
Yeah, treat me like shit. Come on.
Nah, if you've got employees, you meant to be good to them, man. They're the people that keep.
That's not how it goes in Sheffield.
Nah, no, that's not what I've had either. But that's how you keep your business running. That's like,
yeah.
I'm not going to name drop the company. I worked for the company before, like a phone company selling phones, and the manager was one of these. Yeah, the manager was one of these pizza party guys. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your wages are piss poor, and we've bumped your bonus structure down by like 30%, but we're having pizza on Friday. Like, yeah, cool, man. Thanks. So I'll go home and I'll feed my bairn on your Domino's for next week. Like,
oh Christ.
And this was like this persisted for like. And then when he started letting folk go because they didn't have any money, he was away buying and selling new cars and stuff. Like, bro, that was right before Christmas. Sacked a bunch of people because they didn't have enough money. The business wasn't making enough money. We went and bought himself a brand new like Audi A7. Like, hold on a moment. Like, and that's what I'm whether I make money or not, I'm never going to be one of these employers that's, oh, I'm going to pay you a pittance. Because if you pay your staff good money and treat them properly, they'll not want your business to go under because they've got a great job and they enjoy it. So they'll put more work into making sure your business stays afloat. If it's a bunch of people that don't give a fuck how much money you make every month and how much whether the business stays open, they're going to do the minimum amount of work. That's what you get in call centres. People in call centres do the absolute minimum, and I know because I've worked like for them, because it's for multinational conglomerates who don't give a toss about them and do things like cut their hours and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's quite like a generational thing. Like, I think a lot of people like more nowadays are less inclined to actually work any more than what they just have to. You know
I think
like back in the day, like people took like a certain amount of pride in the work in the sense like I want to do the best job I can do and be the best at it, so I'm willing to go the extra.
But I think that's because that used to reward
people,
like
just I'll do what you're paying me to do and then I'm fucking going home. Do you know what I mean?
But my granddad was like that. That's always like my granddad was like, oh, you worked harder and you got like the next job, and then you worked a bit harder and you became a manager, and you worked a bit harder and you
yeah.
That doesn't happen now. That like folk are kept in Tesco in the same desk job or the same like job for 20 years.
Yeah.
With no prospect of being promoted and no prospect of their living situation changing. Like, used to be like my granddad was a brickie and he managed to keep the house afloat. Him, my nanny, my mum and my uncle, and kept the whole house afloat on one wage. Like, how are you going to do that now as a brickie? You know what I mean? Like, you could work 6 days a week as a normal bricklayer and not make enough to sustain a whole household with 2 kids.
Like, when you're with kids as well and stuff.
You know what I mean? You get a lot less for your money now for your work, and I think when it felt like you were getting something for it, I bet it was so much more rewarding to work 6 hours knowing that you'd bought your house in 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, folk now, you're working for, because obviously the amount of money you make versus the average house cost is crazy now. You know what I mean? Like, you're now having to do 14, 15 times as much to get a house as you would have had to have done in like 1975 or whatever, 1980 or whatever, you know what I mean? And I just think I can see why people are disenfranchised with working when they're getting nothing out the back of it. You're spending 5 days a week, 6 days a week doing the same thing, and you can't afford to heat your house. Like, folk eventually are going to go, well, you know what? I'll just wear the same clothes every day for the next 6 months. Like, folk will start to drop all the unnecessary stuff. I think just naturally. You know what I mean? Like the things that you don't really need to be holding on to. But like I say, it's tough because I like. the traditional sort of like working structure is fine, but I think it's more to do with how you treat the people that work for you, or how much you treat people that, even in service industries, people are horrible to folk that work in service industries. I mean, you'll know. I mean, like, especially like the waiter staff and stuff like that.
I don't know what you're talking
like, it's treated like absolutely horrible, man. Like, same as folk in NHS now, like nurses and getting screamed at and all this sort of thing. Like, see if someone perceives someone as like quote unquote below them, or they're serving them, they seem to be totally alright with.
I'm not being funny, right? I have an open pass at work, so like I can see everyone in the restaurant can see me, and I can see them. You know, and they have to walk past me to come in, and walk past me to go out. There's only one entrance. And the amount of people that'll be stood as close to me as you are, and like will deliberately not even look at me, like won't say a word to me, and wait for the waiting staff to speak to them, and just won't even acknowledge me at all. It's like mental. You do get obviously a lot of people that come in and you can have a wee chat with them, but there's a lot of people, and it only seems to be in this town since I've worked. Everywhere else, they're excited to see the chef. They're excited to speak to them, but see in this town.
The social hierarchy shite. It's you're serving me, so you're less than. Like, folk treat folk like in shops and anything like that all the time, and you see it. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked in retail, and people treat you like they're skivvy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, somebody come in, do this for me now. Sorry. Like, how's that? What do you expect me to do here? Just like, yes, sir. You know what I mean? Like, that's not. And that in a lot of jobs, that's what you're told you've got to do. Just like, yeah, cool. I worked in that phone shop. That's what they said. If somebody comes in and tries to steal one of the phones, just let them. Yeah, all right, okay, cool. I said, no problem, it's no problem at all. I mean, like, girl, help yourself. This is a good one.
No, don't steal that one. This is the newer.
Yeah, but some of it's quite mental. But yeah, like, I think folk could just.
I think it's worth your risk. It's worth risking getting involved either, though.
Nah, especially if you work in
steal a phone and they've got a knife on them.
Help yourself, man. I mean, I'll put them in a bag for you. Risk my life for a minimum wage job. Like, that's crazy. Yeah,
The cost of the phone alone would probably be less than your monthly wage. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. And so the company aren't want to pay out on your insurance if you get done in and try to protect their phones or whatever.
That's absolutely probably part of the reason.
Yeah. But it's funny. Like I said, it all comes down to just how you treat either folk that are perceived to be beneath you. That's what I mean, this whole manager thing. Like, and it don't think it matters how much money I would ever have. Like, I'm not one of these people like, oh, you shall do this for me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dance, poor people. Like, it's such a weird concept. Like,
no, I could never see you being like that.
Nah, I'm gonna have holes in my trousers for the next 40 years. Whether I think
if I could be like
or
that.
not.
Right,
you could be bougie. You could say we had grapes on a wee plate, and
but I don't think I could just flat out disrespect people.
Nah, exactly. Your social anxiety wouldn't let you.
I'd try it once and then be like, oh, what if he thinks I'm a prick?
I know. Yeah, what if he doesn't like it?
Come back. Look, here's this thing. Here goes.
Just be nice to people, man. That's just the rule, innit? You know what I mean? Like, there doesn't need to be much more to it than that. And I think whether it's somebody that's your employee or whether they're service industry or whatever, just be nice to folk. Yeah, it's not that hard. Or at least
it's easy.
You'd think.
It's easy. It's easier to be nice to people than it is. Like, you've got to put effort into being moody, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I think you
sometimes I'm in a bad mood, fucking effortlessly.
Yeah, if I allow myself a wallow, I'm just one of these like. And it's annoying because sometimes like
I can get super miserable and bitter. Like if I get angry about stuff, I get like a proper fucking.
I'm very good at shaking a bad mood off.
Yeah, like, you're a bit less jaded than I think because I mean, which is in contrast to a lot of what my stuff appears online. But like I am naturally like just cynical, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I can shake off a lot of negativity, and like I have maybe like a 5-minute like blowout where I get my anger or my rage or anything out, but like generally I'm better at shaking that things off and just leaving it in the past.
Nah, if I see the wrong thing, it'll ruin my day.
Same.
Yeah, I've been tilted for like 3 or 4 days off the back of shit I've seen or done or like.
Yeah. And I know that for a fact because this morning I woke up and this is mental. I had a look for the first time at my ex-girlfriend's Facebook page, and like was seeing the way she was living her life, and it just didn't bother me. Like, I was like, damn, and then it didn't bother me, and that's the first time I knew, like, because that kind of stuff used to bother me before. It doesn't bother me anymore.
But it's different. Like, see things like that, I'd be the same. Like that wouldn't bother me, but like it's more things that are like things that anger me. It's like things that I see online that anger me. Like.
I don't like, and nothing online angers, like, you can see things online and like,
people being fucking stupid online angers me, Like, people just like outright just being fucking dumb online.
Nothing really angers me online. Yeah, like, I don't look at stuff online and get angry at it.
I look at the comment sections on Facebook. Bad idea. bad idea.
Nah, and you guys have mentioned that to me about reading comments and stuff like that before on posts.
Honestly,
I have never read comments or anything like that. I don't
Keep
click
it
on
that
the
way.
descriptions like that.
Well, just don't yourself yourself. Like, I don't get angry at videos. I get angry at the people in the comments of videos.
because there was one. What was I saw? I saw one. It was a family, like it was a young family of refugees that had come from Ukraine or something, and these 2 or 3 young lads on like their he did college. If you did like the trades, he did that part time in college, part time doing the job kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, they were painters, so they'd painted this person's house. They just went into this new house and they painted it for them. I thought, oh, that's really nice. That's really cool. So I thought, I'll look at the comments. Comments are all, could you not have done this for a Scottish family? Could you not have done... Oh, come on. Like, how does it always have to be this competition? Like, bro, all they've done is paint this guy's house. It maybe cost like 200-300 quid. And there was like, they had a family, there was like young kids in the house and stuff. These guys have offered to paint the house. And instead of just going, oh, that's lovely for another human being, it's, yeah, but he doesn't look like me. Oh, calm down, man. And it's just... Stuff like that kind of puts me in a bit of a spin sometimes, because I read it and I go, like, is that what most people are thinking? Like, is that what goes through most people's head? Like, they see this and immediately get to this, like, divisive sort of, like...
Well, I would, like, if I was to ever have read anything like that, for me, it would be more of, like... Okay, it's not going to make me sound good, but, like, I'm just not going to get involved kind of thing. Like, someone's commenting stuff like that. For me, instantly, I look at it and go, that guy's an idiot, and just move on.
Yeah, but I won't respond. Vast majority of times, I won't respond to them.
No,
but I'll see them.
It's enough to get you on.
And I'll see them and I'll go, is that what I'm up against?
Yeah.
Like, is that what's happening in the background? Like, I'm sitting here going, oh, be positive, be nice to each other, be good to each other. And somebody gets something nice done at them and folk are going, but they're foreign. Like, come on, man. Like, and this is
mental thing to say, isn't it?
But it is. And I think, like...
You've not done that for a Scottish family. That's weird,
It's so mental, eh?
But this is, it's this, like, it's pitching each other against, like, each other. This is the big problem. And I think... It's hard because I see people that I know and people that I like, people that interact with my stuff on a nice, like, a really good terms, and then I'll see them in comment sections on TikTok making like weird comments about foreigners and invaded by such and such, and you kind of go, oh. And I don't talk about like politics for the most part, but I don't think that's politics. I think that's just like being a human being. Like, you should have some compassion for somebody, whether they're from the same place as you or not. Like, the idea that we're all split up into these little sections and you should only like the people in your section is madness.
I don't subscribe to that either, to be
all
honest.
People, and this is what, and then you see it like with billionaires and folks sticking up for billionaires not paying tax and stuff, and then like demonising foreigners that are on like universal credit and things like this. And you're going, you have more in common with these people that I've come across on this boat than you do with this dude with 12 yachts and a private island. Like that, the difference between you being like them and being like him, you're far more likely to end up.
Out of those two options, who's more likely to help you in any situation?
Oh yeah. This is the problem. A lot of people with nothing are quite quick to like do something for you. Like I've always been like homeless people and stuff like that. I've always been quite quick to just like. Even when I smoked, like it would just be like a half packet of cigarettes. Be like, "Are you want these?" Like, and it wasn't anything like mental. It wasn't like it was just little gestures to people. Or stop and speak to them, or have a chat with them. And there was a boy in Dundee, and he had a dog, and it was just this little staffy thing. Like, I was lovely, so I went away and bought a load of stuff for the dog, and it was like dog food and like water and a bowl and all this sort of stuff. And I watched the boy crack it all open. Like, he wasn't away to go and sell it for drugs or like any of this nonsense. Like, this is always the sort of rhetoric. Oh, don't help them because they're trying to scam you. But
who's going to buy his dog food? To be fair.
You know, well, this is it. I'd rather take the risk and maybe buy this dude some stuff and risk him maybe spending the money on something else than if the guy really needed help and totally give it a miss and can't afford to like feed his dog or whatever. You know what I mean? This is, and it is weird because it becomes political, and you've got to be careful. You can't just jump online and go, "Oh, I think we should be nice to everybody," because somebody will disagree.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's always someone who's on the other side of the fence.
And I sometimes think I'm naive, and I sometimes wonder I'm a bit too like. Because I wasn't always like that. I wasn't always like inclusive and we're all togetherness and all the rest. Like, I was as divisive as anybody else. But you get to a point like, well, you either just hate everybody that's not exactly like you, or you realise that basically everybody's almost exactly like you. Like, that's like homeless folk and stuff. Like, most of us are closer to being homeless than millionaires. Like, by a long stretch. You know what I mean? Like we're far more likely to end up homeless than ending up like actual millionaires.
Speak for yourself.
I know. Yeah, I'm already halfway there. It's
Yeah, I'm almost homeless.
Yeah, and I just can't imagine looking down at folk being like, "Oh, you've got slightly less than me," but yeah, it's not that big a deal, man. Like,
Nah.
I mean, like, I just be nice to each other, but it's not easy, is it?
Nah, it's hard. Like I get my rails up on like flat earth things always come up with me. That's what gets me railed up. It's a totally different direction when I open it's because I open the comments and it's always somebody that believes that it's flat, like being really like trying to mock the people that don't, like being almost
you're also
being
stupid.
like, oh my god,
like,
I can't believe you're not even intelligent to understand that that's just not. And then that angers me because I'm like, you shouldn't be so confidently stupid. Like it's not. You just shouldn't be like know that you're dumb. Or, you know what I mean? Like
that's that exact same better than thing. I hate that. Oh, I'm better than you because I know more than you. I've spent more hours on YouTube than you have. Like,
yeah.
What?
It stresses me out so much because then they turn around and they'll be like, oh, the globe earthers are so fickle. They just can't. And you're like, oh my god, I hate you so much. Like I actually hate you so much.
It's savage. It's savage, but
yeah, I wish I had the.
Someone should start a page called Flat Earthdrop.
Oh, don't. I'll appear now. I'll appear now.
I hope they do.
I'll maybe do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, get myself famous being a flat earther. That's what I'll do.
Oh, bro, honestly.
Here's how to save the earth. Just throw the rubbish off the edge.
Yeah.
Go past the ice ring and just...
like you say, I'm totally for the, like, believe what you want, do what you like. As long as you're being nice to people, I don't care. See if I was on a conversation with somebody and they calmly, we were just chatting, like, oh yeah, and I'm a flat earther and stuff. I wouldn't go, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't immediately start mocking them. Like,
you and me are different people.
Nah, but if you're like, if somebody worked with me or something and he said that, and like,
That's
it was
literally
like,
the situation I've had. I
Bro.
worked with a guy who was like, and I was mates with him, like, we would go out for fags and that on our breaks and stuff and just sit, and he would tell me all these mad stories, and you know what, he was so good at like convincing you. You would send me walk away and go, this guy's got a point, and then 2 seconds later, no he didn't. You just go,
no, but I would do what you said I wouldn't do. If it was
I remember the guy that we knew, I'm not going to name drop him, when we were hanging out with Jaff. Remember the guy that we knew?
I never met him.
Oh, did you not?
I never met him, bro. You know for a fact if I'd have met him, there would have been a conversation about the flat earth.
The Queen is lizards, like the wildest. Oh, mate, the Queen is a lizard. Like, yeah, man, like, oh yeah.
You heard that? The Queen is lizards.
I've heard like the idea
I don't know if it was one lizard or like
people that like the
three
world
on their
is
shoulders
ran by like lizard people and stuff like that.
Just a lab coat full of geckos.
Yeah, no, I have heard that, and then like.
I've never heard that.
You know, like the Egyptians being aliens and like all this kind of stuff. Like
lifting the pyramids with
I've seen them all because they're funny stories. Like that's why I like them. Like they're entertaining things to read. Like it's a nice book if you wanted to make it into one, but like it's a bit of a stretch to actually take it seriously. You know what I mean? Like,
but this is
like
there's
certain amount, like there's belief that I'm okay with people having. It's like if you want to believe that, then I honestly don't care. But there's some stuff that it's like, nah, just get a grip. Do you know what I mean? And that, like, believing the world's flat's one of them. Like, that's one of them.
A lot of them
just,
I
like,
wished I had
just
full-hearted belief in. Like, I'm often really jealous of people that believe some of these things that are true and like how fabulous the world must be. Like,
no, because the guy that started it almost as like a joke.
Yeah,
and then it took off, and then loads of people supported it, and it was basically like, I could get pretty famous off this now and make a bunch of money off this, and then now he's done it. Like, dude said the world was flat because it was in the Bible and because it was a joke, and then now like everyone people think it is, and he's rich off of it, and people are just like, oh no.
Did you ever see the one the one where they did that laser test?
That's what I was just about to bring that up.
And he's like, so realistically, if we hold it at this height, like it'll prove that. And he goes, I'll hold it up like 3 feet, and he holds it up. It's like, there it is. So that's
there was an actual
curve,
Netflix documentary all about it. Yeah, it's like the final test. Literally proved that it's a globe.
Spent like 40 grand on some gyroscope thing, and like.
But people are being like, they'll stand and they'll be like, I'm actually at the top of this bridge and it's above sea level, so why can't I see the New York skyline from like the UK? Like, because that's what are you talking about?
My problem is what's to gain? Like, and the thing is, the line's really thin. Like, the line is really thin between conspiracy theory and real life. Like, and it is mad. Because I was having an argument with some other boy the other day. He was on about cloud seeding. So cloud seeding is in like Dubai and stuff. They release clouds of silver iodide into the sky, and it causes rain. So they can control whether it rains or not now in Dubai and stuff. But in like 2019, this is real. This is genuinely, this is real science. Yeah, gen up like properly. I went and looked. It was genuinely real. Cloud seeding and stuff is an actual real thing. Like, it totally does happen. And I think in 2020 they did it wrong and they caused like storms and floods and stuff in Dubai and all those kind of things. But this is true.
Right.
And this guy was on about this on one of the Arbroath pages, and he was like, "Oh yeah, and there's a private company that will guarantee you don't get any rain for your wedding." And I was like, "Oh yeah, very good. Like this is the line. You've crossed the line between like theory and reality." And he sent me the link, and I was like, "Oh my days, you're actually right. There's a private company that apparently are offering, I think it's in the States, to employ this cloud seeding company to make sure that it doesn't rain on your wedding day." This is like
okay. So, but how do they get rid of clouds?
I don't know. This is to do with
maybe
chemicals.
maybe they release the stuff earlier, making the rainfall earlier than it should.
So that all
meaning that there's less rain in the sky at that. Like so, like
makes sense.
3 or 4 days prior.
The sky comes across, like set it off here, so there's no
rains
clouds
all
by the
before
time
it gets to you. Like, but this is things that are happening. They are actually manipulating the weather, and this is where people are like, "Oh yeah," and then they jump onto like I think it's called Project Bluebeam, and they're on about how now projections are getting so real that they'd be able to fool people into anything. Like they'd be able to fool people into thinking God has arrived and all this sort of stuff. And I've seen some of the projections and stuff. Some of the stuff that do is really quite realistic. Hey, like have you seen is it Spider-Man? Mysterio with and he's got the drones. Well, they're working on freestanding projections and stuff that will stand in the night sky like it's real. And folk are worried that what they'll do is
like
they'll use it to make like aliens landing or whatever, any of this sort of shit to like build up hysteria and all this sort of stuff. And the theory is...
So what you're telling me is if aliens ever do appear, I've got to try and just absolutely
you've got to find out whether it's real or not.
So that's I just got to swing first.
But the line is so blurred. Like, the line is
you're definitely
so
getting
blurred,
that way with AI and all that. You're definitely getting
AI
that
scares the
bejesus out of you.
I seen a video the other day of the woman speaking to an AI robot, and she basically asked it. She was like, earlier on in the day, you said that you didn't feel like you had any purpose. And then the robot's like, yes, because obviously purpose is defined as like producing something. And then the robot kind of stops, and then it goes, well, maybe I should have cut myself a little bit of slack. I guess I am producing stories and information for you guys, so I suppose I am really productive then. And it's like, how is this AI robot managed to have like actual like a thought process like that, like to realize, oh, actually, no, maybe I am better than that. Like that's not okay. Like that's taken it too far. And I understand at the same time there's a certain level of like programming that could put it into that to make it do that, so it seems almost like it's learning. But then at the same time, if it is actually learning and working things up like that, like that's an issue.
Yeah,
like,
this
like,
is
and if that's what we're seeing,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
like
say the military is like 15 years ahead of us.
Exactly. So they're already there. Like they've.
Well, have you seen the Boston Robotics animals? The dog in a man, like the dog that runs like 40 mile an hour, and they use it like, oh, bro, here this thing's used in active war zones, and they load it up with guns, and they basically send in a building to clear a building. This robot dog, mate.
Yeah.
Robot dog arrives in the building, weaponed up, murders a bunch of people, and then they send the troops in after it. Like, honestly, man, it's scary, bro.
They run like a dog. They run like a dog. Like all 4 legs going to like. Oh, it's
whether they're actually using them or not is maybe up for debate. But I've seen the actual dogs. I've seen the robots working properly. That's publicly available information. But the claim is that they're sending them in with like weapons on them, which is the natural progression for humans, because they make something and immediately find out how to kill each other with it.
Actually terrifying.
Savagery. Imagine, like, just imagine, think of this. You're unfortunately stuck in an active war zone. It's kicking off. You're sitting in the living room with your family, just, you know, chilling like there's not been too many bombs gone off recently, and then all of a sudden your door gets barraged down and a steel dog comes firing through it.
Loaded up with guns, man.
Imagine the terror of that, eh?
I'm more like, that's like active war zone, right? I'm more worried about like the fact that anyone could just have a drone. And they could just make a drone that thousands of drones fly into a town or city, fly into all the houses and just murder people.
Yeah. Well, there was
eventually
Criminal Minds. They do a whole episode on a boy that basically they had a drone with but drones with guns on them are a thing. Like, that's not make believe. Like, that's an actual thing.
Yeah,
like,
use that.
Nah, I think that's wild. Actual robots with guns. Like, and this is what I mean. We're at the point now where they've got Boston Dynamics or Robotics or whatever.
Robotics, yeah.
One of them is running on 2 feet at like 20 mile an hour, like sprinting, like jumping and stuff, like the same as like.
They do videos of trying to push.
I have actually seen that robot. Yeah, I have seen that.
And realistically, like you say, where does that end? Like, are we going for like the Gundam Wing full body suit, like folks standing inside massive fighting robots and stuff?
You can get them now. Like
It's
they've done their
such
first
a weird
implantation
time to
of
be
one of the
alive. Yeah, I
one
did
of
see
the
that.
brain things. What's it called? Elon Musk's thing.
The
Neuralink.
yeah.
The first.
That is the most Black Mirror fucking thing.
Yeah, I
that's-
don't want that. I don't
That's
want that anywhere
crazy,
near me,
man.
like,
Oh my
I trust
god!
Elon.
Imagine
I
just
trust
getting a
him.
wee warning. The left side of your body has shut down because you've not paid your premium subscription for this month. You know what I mean?
You've forgotten how to walk.
Yeah, to unlock your left and right arms, £4.50 a month. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, imagine sitting eating your tea. All of a sudden, your eyes go red because there's an advert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Beer. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, I was in the middle of driving. Like, nah, it scares the people.
Actually, they can pay for ad blockers.
Oh, mate.
Ad blockers in my own
plugging
brain,
your
man.
cell
What's
in
that,
and
like,
ahhing and...
what is it? McAfee fucking internet security for my brain, man.
I'm gonna try it. If he
I'd
offers it,
absolutely
if he sends it this way, if he
Have
wants
you
to
seen-
sponsor the pod, you know what?
Have
I'll
you seen
take
Ghost
it.
in the Shell?
No.
Scarlett Johansson becomes
no,
like
I'm sure
a...
I watched that with you actually.
Is that, mate? It's a great movie. It's about like this basically like android thing that, or Scarlett Johansson's like this robot thing and stuff. It's cool as fuck.
No.
But it is based on the idea that your body can just be swapped in and out. Like I've said before, like the concept of that cool as anything. Like I'd turn me in a robot any day of the week. But it's the brain thing. It's imagine them being able to just like and you're off. Like you can be this big like robot all you want, but if they've got an off switch, you're kind of just a toaster.
Yeah, but then like, what if the what if the robot works out to to make the off switch not work?
But then you've got to be, that's like biohackers, which is, again, really cool, like a really cool concept, but is also really dystopian in Black Mirror. Like, imagine having to go to some back alley dude that's going to plug your brain into a machine and basically like get your car remapped. Just some boy in the back is like, so, you know, what would you like, man? It's cool. You know, let me just plug it in. He's like licking the end of the plug and I'm like, right, cool. You know what I mean?
Like with electric, you go.
Nah. Don't worry, this is a patched version. You know what I mean? Like, cool. Nah, man, we're going for some weird
You guys
stuff.
watch? You watch too much sci-fi stuff. Man.
I do.
I don't have enough time to watch any of
mate,
that stuff.
Sci-fi's where it's at. And they've got an
I don't
active
even-
imagination. That doesn't help.
Yeah, true. I'm not on enough social media at that either. For someone who runs a podcast, that I don't see none of that stuff.
You've
Like,
watched a lot of movies now, though.
Not too many, to be honest.
Just Lord of the Rings over and over again.
Yeah. And Ace Ventura.
See,
Ace just made me think of the Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Ace Ventura. It's a great movie. It only gets overtly transphobic towards the very end. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah, we've managed to get very off topic there again.
Yeah, I noticed that, and
Has that crashed?
it crashed at an hour and 3 minutes.
That's fine. That was about a minute ago.
Oh no, it's still going. It's still recording, but it looked like it crashed a minute ago. But yeah, we did get very off topic. I noticed that about 25 minutes ago, but
Was that me?
it was both.
Probably. I think it was all of us, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because the only other thing, obviously, I know we've got a decent amount of time here, but before we're wrapped up, I wanted to see if you would explain the whole purpose of you getting the yard and stuff like that, like what you're going to do with it, what the use is it for, because I feel like that's... I'll make little videos about that to allow people to see what it is you're actually doing with the yard.
Yeah, no,
Because
definitely.
we didn't get very much on that. So you got a yard, it's got indoor and outdoor space.
Yes.
And you go for it. What is the purpose of it?
So,
what are you going to do with it? What's it going to be?
I think like an upcycling recycling centre. No, we don't have a name.
The Earthdrop off your stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something like that. It's gonna Earthdrop in or something. It'll be something along those lines. But the point is basically what I wanted to do is I've started building these worktops. So Steve's helped me.
Yeah.
And the worktops go right down one side and right up the other. I've got a bunch of bench tools, and the plan is it's all bench tools that my granda had that I've not been able to use because I don't have the space. And I'm going to set them all out on this bench. What I'm going to do then is go out and do my litter pick and stuff, and then bring back all the rubbish instead of taking it to be recycled. Bring it back to where I am, like at my yard. Split it all up into usable and not usable components. Right. Recycle what I can through the local skip, separated, and keep what I can to upcycle, you know what I mean? Like, and basically try and take as much of, like, I'm on about like plastic bottles, cans, aluminium. Like, I'm looking into how to make coins and stuff, and the idea is to instead of having to ask people to sign up for Patreon and things like this and not get anything in return, I can sell items. I can sell things I've made out of recycled plastic, recycled wood, broken stuff, any sort of things, and I can use that money to then fund picking up more stuff. And all the stuff will be sourced from the rivers and the forests and all the rest. So it's like I'll be going out and picking these things up bringing them back, making some use out of them, and
Like
redistributing them.
gemstones and stuff like that, necklaces and
Well, this
all
is it.
those
I can
sorts
take
of
a lot of the
trinkets.
stuff that I find and turn it into like nice bits and things that people can
Yeah.
have. You know what I mean? And it takes it out of the kind of thing that's going to end up in a landfill or whatever. And the plan is for the space that I'm in is I'm going to have separator bins outside. So I'm
Yeah.
going to periodically keep all the plastic bottles, all the glass bottles, all the rest, and then I'll collate them into one thing and either use the glass. Glass is interesting. You can turn it into sand, you can melt it down, you can use it for other things. You can actually make stuff out of the bottles, which the plan is at the moment is to try and make like planters and cups and glasses and stuff like this.
Because it's cool seeing people do that when you get old like alcohol bottles and make like little glasses out
Well,
of them.
that's
and stuff like
that's
that.
the
It's
idea,
nice.
is to just take stuff like that and make them into something that people will want instead of stuff that's sitting in the woods.
Yeah.
But the centre itself allows me to bring back everything I find in the bags, burst the bags, and then sort through it instead of having to do it at the roadside.
Yeah.
Because as it stood, like I was working through 20-30 bags of rubbish in a lay-by just at the side of the road, and if I stop, I can't just leave the stuff sitting there because it'll
Yeah.
blow away. If I've got it all at the yard and I get halfway through it and something happens, I don't need to abandon ship. I can just carry on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the plan is for the place to basically be like an upcycling, recycling centre, somewhere to run the page out of and all the rest. But
And will people be able to come and drop stuff off to you, or will it just be like?
so I would call
Do
that.
you need a different license for that? If
I'd
someone's-
consider that phase 3. We're in
Yeah,
phase
okay.
2 at the minute. That's my like. Phase 1 was the litter picking and stuff with the van. Phase 2 is the premises and the truck. You know what I mean? Like I'm in somewhere now. I'm working from it. Phase 3 is. I'm hoping to get another yard, perhaps.
Okay.
Like just a bit of land. And the idea is to run effectively a full personal recycling centre. I am going to take. The plan is to go around family and friends, give them bins and stuff. Be like, I'll take all your glass, I'll take all your plastic. Like, I'll distribute it, I'll sort it, I'll recycle it. Like, I'll get it all like organised. But the plan eventually would be to send bin lorries round the town, collect everybody's rubbish before it ends up in the woods or the river or the wherever. Before it gets to that point, get as much of it as I can and recycle and use it in a responsible manner. Because the council, as good as they are for some stuff, they waste so much of the things that are sent. It goes into landfill or it gets burned or whatever, and it's just a waste. Like there's no point. Like the glass and stuff. The sand dunes at Lunan.
Yeah.
They're all corroding. They're all eroding. Sorry, they're all
Yes.
disappearing. And they're worried about the safety of Montrose, because if the dunes disappear, Montrose is basically up against the North Sea. Like that's like the kind of last line of defence for Lunan Bay and stuff. And in a lot of countries, what they've done is they've taken glass bottles en masse, obliterated them back into sand, and then used that sand to shore up the beaches and stuff that are starting to erode. Like, Scotland surely has enough glass to some degree that we can be reusing some of it in senses like that, other than instead of just throwing it away or burning it or whatever. Like,
The amount of beer that Scottish people drink, you'd imagine we could pull together enough glass bottles.
you know what I
from
mean?
that.
So I'm not. That
Brew
is
comes
just
in a glass
really
bottle
just an
fast.
example. But
Yeah, bucket bottles.
yeah, they're nice bottles too. Nice coloured bottles.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Nice
get some
colour.
nice green beaches.
Yeah, mate.
Emerald beaches.
But that's the idea, is to take as much of the stuff as possible and turn it into something worthwhile. Eventually, like I say, phase 3, 4 is to get the plastic mulching machines.
Yeah.
And all the plastic, I can mulch it down into like a material and sell it to like
3D printing.
3D
and
printing
stuff,
companies
yeah.
and stuff like this. So there is scope for it to become like a full up recycling centre. At the moment, the plan is to collect everything I can and all the stuff that I collect, and perhaps other volunteers, which in the future might be happening. Be looking into folk coming up to do volunteering days and stuff like that. But I need to look into public liability insurance.
Yeah, in case they get hurt while you're trying to show them stuff.
Exactly. So I need once I get things like that sorted, I can get community days where I've got people up to help pick stuff up, bring it all back, sort it out, build it into things. Like, the idea is to get as much of this crap out of rivers and forests and turn it into something nice, instead of just picking it all up and taking it to the skip to be put in a landfill or burned or whatever.
Just more earth dropping, but on a larger scale.
And if I can keep sort of leveling it up, then great.
Yeah.
Folk have offered to do the same thing in other countries, like folk like in like the States and stuff have offered to basically set up the same thing under the same name and start doing like. But all that's to come. Hopefully one day it ends up something big, and the idea
a
is,
movement rather.
you know
than
what I
just a
mean? Like
person,
this is And with the sponsors and stuff,
I made that one video that one time where I picked up some stuff.
Yeah, mate. See,
was a long
that's
time ago.
yeah, I
That was
remember
a
that.
long
He's
time
like, I remember that. But this is now that once the truck's fixed and that, which like I say, in the next couple of days we'll find out about. We're kind of cooking with gas. Like we're in this place. The worktop's nearly made. The bench tools will be coming in. We can start generating sort of incoming stuff and things which will help sort of further the projects. And the next year to 2 years, this will either take a massive uptick or it'll all disappear.
All part of the waste.
So watch this space and we'll see which one it is. But
I think it's going to be the first one.
do you know what?
And
The community, every time I think it's a way to go tits up, every time I think it's a way to go wrong, like the folk are there to sort it out.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's decent. Like that's well.
Well, as your other half has just arrived home,
No.
it's probably a good
Give her a
space
living
to
room
end
back.
it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. There's still plenty of hurdles that you're going to have to come across in the future, and let us know how you get along with the van. But once again, Josh, it's been a pleasure having you on the pod. We always have you. I love having you on, and it was nice coming down to the yard today to give you a hand. And like I said, hopefully I can be down more often. Like on a Monday, I'm free most Monday morning.
We're discussing doing a pod from there one day as well. We're going to get a sofa.
Eventually get it all set down there,
Yeah, good idea.
Something set up.
It'd be colder. I'll wrap it warm.
If I can figure out how to get the heating working, that'd be great.
We'll do a pod while helping you separate bags.
Yeah, there you go.
Before we finish as well, we also talked about doing jiu-jitsu down there, so you can teach me jiu-jitsu.
Yes, if you can source some mats, mate. I'll
open a school.
I'll train with you. Like I will.
Well, yeah,
he said he'll do it as well. If you get some mats, we'll go down there and I'll do some training. Like
100%. I'll get mats this week,
my idea.
Mate, if you get some mat, you can keep them at the yard all you want, and we'll just roll them out. And just if you want to do some training down there, we can use that place. Like
yeah, all right, sold.
Well, I love that idea. So
jiu-jitsu
ending on a
content.
massive positive, exactly. And
We'll see how much I've forgotten. Watch me get my absolute ass kicked.
The thing is, right, it's going to have
Listen,
to be
your
like,
Japanese nonsense ain't going to be worth
I know.
anything.
We're not gonna toe lock me or nothing. Yeah.
I'll footlock you before you even think about throwing me.
unlocking memories from 15 years ago.
I
Trying
know.
to
I'm
do
gonna
wrist locks.
flashbacks and I. Like,
It's going to be you. You're going to have to roll with Josh. I'm going to have to roll with Karis.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch Josh do the wushu finger hold or whatever it is.
Turns out I am. I'm gonna bust out like that boy from Kung Fu Panda. Just totally unbeknownst. Like,
Yeah, I'll be like, haha, no worries.
pure sleeper agent. All it takes is wow.
Like a praying mantis. Right, guys. Thanks for joining us again, Cowie. As always, it's a pleasure having you
As always.
by my side. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. And peace.
Peace.
Soon, guys.